Happy Monday, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to Toys, the Universe, and Everything. So, how much fun is it to liberate the dust world with insane weapons and invisible jetpacks? This week in the Dad Cave, we're playing Forgotten Worlds for the Sega Genesis. So, should you save up your Zenny for this Capcom arcade shooter? Well, like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and avoid whatever that is, and let's play some Forgotten Worlds. Programmed and released in 1989 by SEGA for the Genesis, Forgotten Worlds is a port of Capcom's 1988 arcade CPS-1 shooter that cost over $5 million to develop. Even though fans praised this game for its fun and inventive play system, it was not a financial success. Capcom didn't port this one to the Sega themselves, which was the norm for many of the early Capcom Sega ports. The unique control panel for the arcade cabinet included a spinner button for analog directional firing, which meant the home game would not be a perfect port in terms of gameplay. Sega's solution? Map button rotation to A and C with fire in the middle. Not a bad solution. Gamers can even modify the rotation speed by buying items in the shop. Once you're through staring at the shopkeeper, Sylphie that is. Known as Lost Worlds in Japan, Forgotten Worlds is a two-player co-op shooter where you are a nameless one, destroying the alien warlords that have taken over the planet Earth. You fly for some reason, and rotate your hero 360 degrees to take out enemies. Shops appear occasionally so you can spend your hard-earned Zenny on items for your arsenal. Just remember, if you're playing for high score, spending Zenny will lower your in-game points much like another Capcom shooter, UN Squadron. Only 7 of the 9 arcade levels made it into this port, and a few of the arcade bosses were cut as well. Thankfully, the iconic God of War made it into the port. Playing this game as a kid, I remember how awestruck I was at the size and scale of the God of War boss. The huge fist that would fly on the screen and take a swipe at you, and how accomplished it felt to take him out. The visuals of the bosses, the characters, the levels, all look like they were meant for the Sega Genesis. Since the arcade game was only a year old when this released, the new factor and how close it came to the arcade game was a testament to what the Genesis could do visually. My only complaint is the background for the Egyptian levels still look like a repetitive bowl of SpaghettiOs to me, but the wow and creep out factor of seeing someone worship at the God of War's altar before fighting his full-size form is one of the unforgettable moments in gaming, to be sure. The music and audio effects do a nice job of getting the feel of the arcade into a small game cartridge. The level begin effects are memorable and the jingles are nice without ever getting on your nerves. The music, though varied, does all come from the same instrument, so that even though the notes change, you never feel like the music changes. Still, it's a minor gripe for a game I've been playing for 30 years now. The gameplay design here is some of Capcom's best work. Whether the game scales vertically or horizontally, it never feels broken. Shooters like Gradius and Life Force sometimes make people forget that Capcom has a history of shooters just as good as Konami's. 1942, Section Z, Gunsmoke, UN Squadron, and Forgotten Worlds do more than just let the player shoot things. They all added something unique to the shooter formula. In Forgotten Worlds, the players can move closer together to amplify their firepower, spin 360 degrees to fire in any direction, and change up the gameplay completely by choosing different firearms in the shop. The flamethrower lacks full range, but ignores walls when doing damage. The laser is a fierce power in a straight line. The 8-way shot is weak, but allows you to focus on avoiding enemy fire. Even after discovering the game's safe spots and strategies, I still come back to it for the fun of this unique gameplay design, even limited by the Sega controller. A side note about the Sega Pad though, if you are using a 6-button controller, this game requires you to boot the system into 3-button mode by holding the mode button down when you turn on the system. You know the mode button, that thing you never use on the 6-button pad. That's what that does. Yep, that's what that does. That's really all that does. Yep. So what about adding Forgotten Worlds to your collection? Considering this game has been in my collection almost since it came out, I've more than gotten my money's worth out of it. The fact that you can't really emulate the arcade version well because of the unique controls makes the home port significant to collectors and players even today. Until 1UP Arcade makes a cabinet of this one, don't hold your breath, this is still one of the best ways to play it. The closest experience to this on the system is Troubleshooter by Vic Tokai, which I'll be reviewing soon on this channel. The point is that Forgotten Worlds deserves to be dusted off and enjoyed in your collection. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and no matter what your questions are about toys, the universe, everything, remember the answer is always to have fun. And if you're going to get a dress from the shop girl, don't waste your zenny on the 8-way shot. Why is she selling you a dress when you're trying to save the world? Priorities, lady! I really do appreciate you spending time with me. If you want to help me do more, please like and subscribe and share on your social media stuff so I can grow the channel. Until next time, everybody.